TYFU.
We're rolling.
Back in the saddle, Marilla.
Back, and it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
Love
like
a saddle.
Riding a bike, to mix our metaphors here.
Yeah. Just strapping my saddle onto my bicycle. Away we go.
Well, it's good to see you post-Christmas.
You too. You've got the post-Christmas glow.
Really? Yeah. I thought it was the post-Christmas pallor.
No.
Is it victory or defeat? It is utter exhaustion.
It's victory. Mm-hmm. How was your Christmas season?
It was victorious. You're right. Yeah, I mean, it was everything we expected it to be.
Yes.
Sort of exciting, sort of relentless, sort of exhausting. I remember, I don't know, like a day or two before Christmas, I had a customer come in, a very well-meaning customer come in right before close of business.
Classic.
And
Classic
she
move.
said, gosh, you must be exhausted. And I just cracked up. I lost my shit. And I just started laughing hysterically. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. You just triggered something for me.
And then you started sobbing. It turned from a laugh into sobs.
I maintained my composure till like December 26th. And then that's when you start sobbing, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Well, how did it go for you? When did you start sobbing?
Oh, I'm going to stop. I'm going to sob now. No.
I waited till the podcast.
No. It was good. It was definitely an adventure with the dueling Christmas and retails in both locations. I definitely forgot more than I should have, and I did blame it on things that were outside of my control.
Yeah.
A couple times. Not proud of it, but you know,
the constellations.
Sometimes, yeah. Mercury.
Mercury comes in handy so often.
But it was good. I had people that said things that were, I don't want to say insensitive, but so out of touch that it made me laugh. And then I had people that were so heartwarming with their reactions that it almost made me cry. So,
did you get any gifts?
Did I get any gifts? Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. I did. I got some interesting and thoughtful gifts. I got some treats. And in fact, we got some treats because of our efforts.
Well, that's what I was like leading up to. I was trying to remind you.
Nice job, Beth.
Okay, well, I was in my store behind the counter when a new listener came in and said that she had binged the whole season, whole season one, and that she laughed, she cried, and she made us some caramels because we had talked about receiving caramels from customers. So, yes.
That was so
a nice, that was meaningful.
Are we going to glaze over the fact that I didn't bring Kelly any of those caramels? Did you bring Kelly?
Yeah, I saved some for him.
Thank God.
Yes, I did. Did I fail to mention that I saved some caramels for Kelly? Because otherwise it would have been too bad for Kelly Walker.
Too bad for Kelly Walker. Yeah.
Anyway, I got a customer brought in whoever was working just handed out scratch-off cards. Which was, I thought, so
well, what'd you
cute.
win?
I won $5. And Barrow, who was working that day, also won $5.
And you took that $5 and to put it towards stomping grounds.
Yes, I did. I immediately reinvested it in the future of my shop. Yes. But anyway, this was a customer I didn't even really know or have a relationship with. So that was a total random act of kindness that I thought was really adorable and nice and inspiring. So
I love that. I had my caramel guy come in.
Yes.
He did come in and shower folks with caramels. And I also got a little wine passport card someone gifted me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but probably some wine.
Yeah, I got a bottle of spiced wine from a customer, too. Didn't even come into shop. Thanks a lot. I'm just joking. But he did come specifically to drop off this bottle of wine, which was just customers are really very nice. So I just want to highlight that for a second.
Okay, well, that's nice. But I'm going to talk about one that's not so nice.
Okay.
That cracked me up. Maybe we'll wrap this segment up with it. But I have one customer who is very agitated that I am not in Geneva more this season, even though I warned him specifically that I would not be in town much during the holiday season.
Because you have another store.
Because I have this other store that I'm getting off the ground. So he has been making known the fact that he does not approve of me being gone throughout this quarter. And we've been navigating it fairly amicably. He dropped off the other day. My manager texted me. She goes, "Oh, so-and-so is here." And I was like, okay, well, is he here to complain about me not being there? Da, da, da. She goes, "No, he dropped off a Christmas card for you." And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. Maybe we're not, maybe we're friends again. So I opened the Christmas card and it reads, "Dear Marilla, this is just a card to wish you a Merry Christmas and to let you know that some of your loyal customers would appreciate it if you tried to be around here more often."
Happy holidays. Peace on earth.
So I saved that. I'm saving that for years to come. I laughed out loud.
I want to just recognize the fact that now that we're past Christmas, what we agreed to do was launch our new season. So this is the first episode of season 2.
Season 2.
And I'm excited about the season we have ahead of us in terms of TYFU.
Me too.
And our guests and our plans and our projects and maybe increasing our listenership, exploring some new topics.
Yeah, it's interesting because when talking about season 2, we have a lot of really juicy topics and prompts that we saved for some reason. We hoarded through season 1.
We don't dare take this on when we're just dipping our toes in the podcast waters. Yeah. But now that we're all grown up podcasters
and people are bringing us caramels, we can now take on the real heavy hitters. Yeah. So
we're going to launch with a very difficult topic that we've talked
spicy.
About between us a couple of times, but haven't really dug into on the podcast yet, and that is shoplifting. And it seems particularly, I forgot to...
Look at us. We come back to season 2.
all about our envelope.
We completely forget the envelope. The whole format's gone to shit. And
crap. Here I was talking about what great podcasters we are now and how we're ready for everything.
Rookie mistake.
All right. Well, let's rip the envelope now.
Yeah, let's do that. I wonder what could be in it.
All right, go for it, Marilla.
Today's prompt is...
What could it be?
Shoplifting. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Shoplifting.
And that seems an important one to do because I had so many problems this particular season, this particular Christmas season.
Sticky fingers.
I know. And me kind of bulldogging security in my own store. Yeah.
Not you.
Yep. And I'm so glad that it's rolling right off Christmas that we're taking on shoplifting. Because it was a rough year for me.
It's fresh. It's fresh.
Yep. And we have a guest.
We do. And she's a little bit of a celebrity on the podcast.
and in Geneva. Yeah. Yep. So I'm excited to talk to her because I know for sure that she has some excellent shoplifting stories.
All right. So Yvette Ortiz.
Yes. Of Earthly Possessions Boutique.
Yes.
Who some listeners may recognize that if they hearken back to our episode from December.
Yes, but we doled out a 5-star review
for Yvette.
Yes, welcome Yvette.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Thanks for being on the first episode of season 2.
I'm so honored and excited.
So, Yvette, first tell us, before we get into the true crime portion of today's episode, tell us how your Christmas was in retail.
My Christmas was exhausting, but well worth it.
Yeah.
Yay.
It was busy. It wasn't insanely busy. It was a nice, steady flow of people.
Ooh.
And no one stole anything, I don't think.
We don't think.
I don't think.
Don't think. All right. That's good.
I can never really complain about Christmas, really. You know, except that I'm just tired.
Yeah.
But that's life.
So, Yvette, did you get any gifts from your customers this year?
I got, what did she, biscotti.
Ooh.
Kringles, not Pringles. Pringles. And two slices of Cam's pizza.
Oh,
well, that's nice.
People tend to give me food.
I love that.
People tend to give me food.
Consumables, it's low waste.
Yeah.
It's always a little surprising.
Yeah.
Because we spend a lot of time thinking about our customers. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice when they come in and they're like, oh, I was just thinking of you.
Well, it really flipped. It's topsy-turvy because we're thinking for that month especially, how can we be of service? Mm-hmm. Constantly in service mode. Mm-hmm. How can I wrap that for you, sir? Right. Or how can I anticipate what, so-and-so might want, who I don't even know, but, we're doing our best to be of service to you and your Christmas.
Yeah.
And then when people flip the narrative, and all of a sudden they're being in service to us. It's really more meaningful than I think people know. Regular customers
because I'm so
know.
grateful.
Yes, exactly.
It's heartwarming.
I feel like Christmas is like having a baby, sort of like. You're so like.
I'm with you.
We get it.
Well, what I mean is like the labor. You forget the difficulty of the labor, and you're like,
oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Next October, it's like I can't wait to get back at it,
right?
And it's going to be perfect and wonderful.
And you're picking out your Christmas stuff.
Your vagina is ripped to hell, and you're like, wait,
why am I doing that? But it's funny because on Christmas Eve, the minute I lock that door, I am on such a high.
Yeah.
Yes.
I come home and I've got my boyfriend's got my wine waiting for me, and I'm like nonstop chatter.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
it's a while to.
And then I'm out for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Then I can't move. I can't talk. I'm just out. But it's like that. And
but it's a fun ride.
Christmas Eve high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a successful Christmas and retail season
with no stealing. You're saying no stealing.
Not that I know
shoplifting.
Of.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. You never really can know for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone took anything without paying for it.
That's good.
But I did have some shoplifting.
You did
this season
for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then I had some presumed shoplifting.
Dang.
That I was wrong about. But okay, we'll get into that later. There was a reason, though, we invited Yvette in particular on for the shoplifting episode because I know you've got stories from the past.
Through the years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do any come to mind instantly?
Well, there's two.
Okay.
Double whammy.
Okay. I mean, there's been a little here and there, but it's the two major ones. So I'm in my old store, my little store. I mean, it was small.
Yep.
And so I could see everything that's like going on.
Right.
So this lady comes in. Let's just say she was a little unkempt in her appearance.
Okay.
And she had like this fanny pack on. And in my old store, I had like tables. I didn't really have that. I had some shelves, but not a lot of shelving. So as she's walking in, I see her like leaning over the table, like basically covering it with her body.
Oh, no.
And I hear like all this shuffling.
That's an odd way to shop.
It is an odd way to shop. And all this like shuffling going on. And then I'm talking to a customer, and then the lady's behind her at another table, bent over it again. And I see her hands do like a mad sweep.
A major shuffle.
Of like my table.
Okay, so let's just clarify. You sell a lot of jewelry.
A lot of jewelry, a lot of
so
little
that
things.
would fit into a panty.
Yes.
Fanny pack.
Yes.
A panty pack.
And I'm talking to my customer like I'm looking at you, but I'm kind of looking behind you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the lady looks at me and she turns around and she's like, is she ripping you off? I'm like, I think so.
No, I think that's pretty normal.
I'm like, I think so. And then she's like, I gotta go back to work or else I'd stay here. And I was like, I got it under control.
Yeah, thanks.
So, and then the lady starts chit-chatting with me, but it's just random.
Oh, that's that total tell. We'll talk about that.
I'm waiting for my son at probation, but he's being framed and he really shouldn't be on probation because his friends accused him of doing something and today's my birthday.
Lots of details.
Oh my God, I love your store. Blah, 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 blah. And as she's talking to me, I'm doing like, a walkthrough. Well, first I casually walked to my door and locked it.
Oh,
which it might be called false imprisonment. I don't know.
It's all right. We've already alerted the cops about this podcast in general.
I didn't want her son walking in, because then there would have been like 2 against 1.
Yeah.
So I locked the door.
What time of day is it?
This is like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Lock the door.
I know. I love people in you guys. I know. I know. So I look at all the tables, and there's like, like that silver platter. I literally have just one just like it with all my earrings were on it.
Yes. Yes.
The whole platter empty.
The whole platter
Another
empty.
table, bracelets,
Gone.
all of them gone.
Dang.
Then I look at a shelf, couple earrings, gone.
Oh, man.
And then she starts walking to the back of the store, and I'm like, I'm going to have to bust her right now because I just don't have time.
You don't have time to put all that stuff
I don't have time for all this. I got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I got work to do. So I looked at her, and I was like, are you? And I felt like I was talking to a child.
Right, right.
I was like, I had a deep sigh, and I was like, are you going to put all that stuff back, or do I need to call the police? And I had the phone in my hand, but my phone was dead, but she didn't know that.
Classic.
And I was like, because I'm on the phone with them right now. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's my birthday. I don't know what you're talking about. It's my birthday. And I was like, listen, lady. I was like, you have stuff from my store. Just give it back to me.
Right.
So she empties out her fanny pack.
The panty fack.
And out come, and I was pissed.
the luxury
because, well, plus she took all my stuff, but all my bracelets have like tags on them with cute little quotes.
Yeah.
And they were all bent. So then I'm like, now I got to put the tags back on them. And she starts emptying out the fanny pack. And I mean, she took so much stuff. It was like $400 worth. Yeah.
It was like Mary Poppins.
Because the bracelets were like $20 a pop.
Oh my God.
It was like, and then I was like, what's in your pockets? Start emptying out your pockets.
That brutal.
And more stuff comes out.
Oh my God.
And not only is it my jewelry, but then she's got like 5 packs of cigarettes, but they're different brands.
Okay.
And they all had like 1 or 2 cigarettes in them.
Okay.
And like 6 lighters and old gum and lint.
You're like,
and,
okay, stop
and
emptying your
tissues.
pockets.
And the tissues, I was like, just put those on the floor. And it was like, I was like, gee, I was like, you got my bike in there that someone stole from my front yard when I was 10 years old? I was like, what else do you have in your pockets?
Man.
And I was like, are you done now?
Yeah.
Then she starts unbuckling her pants.
Oh no.
And I was
with the door
like,
locked.
No.
You're like, whatever you have in your
you
pants.
don't need to undress. I just want you to leave. I was like, just leave.
Right. Whatever you have in your pants, you can
Just
keep.
go. I was like, turn around. I'm going to follow you out. She turns around and puts her hands behind her back, like I'm going to cuff her or something.
Oh my God.
And she's like, just don't hurt me. And I was like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just like, you just need to leave.
Right.
I was like, just leave. Just get out. I don't want you back in here.
Right.
So she's walking out. And as she's walking out, she sees a scarf.
Oh no.
And she's like, oh my God, how much is that?
Like she's going to buy something?
Oh my God.
And I was like, you're not allowed back in. Oh, but I want that scarf. I want to buy it for my sister's birthday. She would love this store. She would love this place. I want to bring her back. And I was like, you're not allowed. And here again, just leave. At the front door, I unlocked it. I let her out. And she was like, so what about that scarf? And I was like, you are not allowed in my store.
You ruined the scarf for
anymore. And she looks at me and she says, you're mean. Oh. And I'm never shopping here again.
Oh, well.
And I was like, you never did, lady. And I slammed the door and I was just like,
oh, man.
My God.
And then, like, the next customer walks in and you have to be normal.
Yeah,
like,
that's hard, too. That is hard to leave.
And I mean, it was just, and I felt bad because as she was like, emptying out her pockets and stuff.
Right.
She had like Cheeto. I mean, it was
a lot of stuff.
And I had a moment of shame, like thinking, oh God, I feel bad being so assertive with her and being mean, because I was like, look at all this shit you stole from me. I was like, look at what you did. I was like, you should.
Right.
And I scolded her. I was like, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
I was like, you should really be ashamed of yourself. And then, I felt bad.
Well, yeah, it's like
I wasn't polite about it. I was just so frustrated,
and mad and a little frightened that you're going to lose all that.
The initial response for me is always like hurt feelings. I've hurt feelings that somebody is stolen this from me.
Yeah.
Now Marilla is a mean person compared to most of us. So Marilla is probably gonna not feel bad about this confrontational moment. Or are you?
Are we starting out the season with me talking about how I sleep like a baby?
I think I asked her that. Yeah. I was like, how do you sleep at night?
Oh, you asked the customer that?
I asked that.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because I think there's mutual hurt feelings. Like you were saying, Beth, like your feelings are hurt because every customer that comes in, I think you want to extend the good faith that they're just a good person that's coming in to shop. And the gratitude.
You're always in a position of gratitude when somebody comes into your store.
So then when something like that happens that is so egregious, it feels personal. Like even if it is just business, you having to be like, okay, you can't steal that stuff. That's truly business. It still feels personal because you're like, okay, now we both know that you were going to do something that is frowned upon and mean and like
going to cost my business. That I work so hard at. I think sometimes I've said this before that your business is so personal. It feels like your living room. You sometimes spend more time there than your living room.
Right.
So if you invited somebody into your living room and they filled their fanny pack with things that are precious to you.
So this is all those bagels. Right in my pocket,
but then at the same time, we are in the business of serving people. So then you do feel bad, even when someone is clearly wronging you. It's easy to feel bad for exposing them and putting their wrongdoing on display. Even though you have to, you have to.
What are you supposed to do? What's your alternative? And also, Yvette, if you were hurt and angry in the moment and you said some things that sounded hurt or angry, I mean, you're human.
It's true.
Yeah, and those feelings are totally justified.
Moral of the story? You should sleep like a baby.
Well, one time this little boy stole from me. I didn't know it until his mom brought him in.
Oh, that's the worst.
Mom busted you right on the spot, man. She brought that poor kid, who, by the way, is I think in law enforcement right now, and I keep reminding him of the story.
This moment. Thanks to this moment where you put him on the right track.
I did. And she brought him in, and she was like, and I was selling like rocks, like those inspirational with the words on them. And I guess he went home with like a pocket full of rocks, and his mom brought him in my store, and she was like, "Tell her what you did." And then she was like, "Now, Yvette, now what do you have to say?" And I'm like, "I don't have kids.
You're going to jail, buddy.
I don't know what do you say?" I'm like, I don't know how to speak to, and I was like, "Stealing is bad, and don't do it again." Okay, bye.
But it's actually fine.
But it's actually fine.
No worries.
I just didn't know. Like, I felt more awkward with her saying, "Now what do you?" And Miss Yvette is gonna tell you something right now, aren't you? And
well, she was well, yeah. She was ready for you to be like, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I think she was. I think, and then after that, she was like, you should have been a little harder on him. And I was like, I've never had this like happen. I mean, he gave me my...
Also, maybe call me first.
Yeah, let me know so I can Google what to say so I can ask my friends who have like kids. What do you say to this random kid that just stole rocks from your store and his mom's bringing you in and he's crying? And
of course he is. Of course he is.
And the mom's like, well, let him have it.
Yeah, let him have it, Mom. Let him have it, And then she was like, she's got to make you wash her windows. And I was like, no, I won't. Like, I was like, just next time.
Liability there. Yeah. No.
And I was like, we're still friends.
Yeah.
But next time we please don't take anything from me because that's just not nice.
I did see a man take some things from my sidewalk sale.
Yes.
And walk away with them. And I felt like those are mine. and he did not pay. And what is going on here? So like he had a good head start on me, but I like walked out of the store and like saw him going down the street, and I followed after him, and I was like, hey, he sat down at an outdoor cafe table on the sidewalk, and I was like, those are mine.
You fool. I can see you.
I need those back. Are you going to pay for those? Yeah. And he was like, well, I was just borrowing them. And I was like, well, you can't borrow them. Yeah. They're not borrowable. I'm not a library. You need to pay for those. Yeah. So I took the books back.
Snatched them.
And then we're talking about like, there's a series of moments in my life where I've confronted shoplifters. Yeah. And this particular gentleman did later go to prison for violent crime.
You have that out here.
I don't know if it's a great idea to confront shoplifters always.
Yeah,
I was told by the police, it was Valentine's Day, the day before Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So I'm nice and steady most of the day. Right. And then boom, 3:00, every guy in Geneva comes in.
Right.
With these 3 people of questionable character.
Yes.
And the minute they came in, I'm like, oh boy. I couldn't leave from behind my counter because I was dealing with customers. I was wrapping presents. So finally, the whole store, everyone leaves. And the one man, there's 3 of them. The one guy comes up and he buys a charm for $1.50. And I'm thinking, I don't know what else is in your pockets right now, but I will take your $1.50 so you could leave. Mm-hmm. So I watched them walk towards the door. And, in my old store, the window display was like right there. Mm-hmm. Doesn't he take his hand, swipe a tray out of my window, and put it in his pocket? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, God, you were so close.
Yeah.
You were so close.
Right.
So, of course, I followed them to the Finger Lakes Lounge.
Oh, classic.
I followed them.
At the time was... For listeners who don't know where that is, like 2 or 3.
The corner, right.
Yeah, two or three
storefronts down from me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the girl sees me, and I swear to God, it was like an episode from The Little Rascals.
So you left your store unattended.
I left my store unattended because I was so angry.
Yeah.
And it was like an episode from The Little Rascals because the girl turns around and sees me, and she pushes them, and they're shuffling over each other, like trying to get away. Like Darla was oh my God, Spanky and Alfalfa, we gotta go. And I heard her say, she's coming. Oh my God. So they're all like shuffling, trying to get into
the bathroom,
trying to get away from me. So the girl runs to the back of the cafe and out the side door. So she's gone. Mm-hmm. So I go up to the 2 guys and I was like, I took out my hand. I was like,
what gives, buddy?
Give me everything you stole from my store. Yeah. Or I'm calling the police. I had my trusty phone with me.
That was dead.
And then I threw in like the police chief's name. I was like, I'm calling him right now because we're about, but whatever. And the guy starts and again, the never ending pockets,
Mary
you guys.
Yep.
I wasn't thinking and I was very, very angry. Mm-hmm. So I actually put my hand in his pocket to make sure there was nothing else in there.
Oh, I don't
there
think
wasn't.
That might be
Yvette.
Also assault. I don't know.
We have
kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault.
You locked someone in your store. You have now frisked someone.
And I guess I need to think before I start acting, but sometimes your emotions just get the most of you.
I know.
And as I'm looking at him, his friend just starts.
But we don't want to reach into
his pockets, and there's nothing in there. He's like, listen, I didn't take nothing. And I was like, good. And then the cops came
to arrest you.
But you didn't call them.
No, the girl from the lounge did because she was like, somebody just stole all this stuff from Earthly Possessions, and we're scared for her. You need to go save her because these guys might attack.
These guys needed saving. Yvette's over here. So ripping their pockets
the
apart.
police officer comes in, and I was like, look at everything, and she's like, well, I commend you, but you have to be careful.
She's like, don't.
She's like,
that.
you need to watch for your, you need to watch out for your own safety. She's like, there were 3 of them.
Could have been more careful.
Yeah,
could have been more careful.
But this is the thing. You're not thinking in the moment. I've done it myself.
Yeah, no.
You just don't, And I mean, I think I did it. I kind of touched this just to make sure. She's like, and don't ever, ever, ever put your hand, because you don't know what's in someone's pocket.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She's like, there could have been needles in there.
Yep.
There could have been.
You never know.
There could have been something that could have really hurt you. And she's like, next time,
Don't be bad.
just call the police.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you guys wouldn't have got. But all I thought that he stole was a trinket tray. You know? I didn't want to be like, he stole a trinket tray. I didn't know at that moment that he literally took like $300 worth of stuff. Yeah.
And you tend to be so self-sufficient when you're in your own store.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You tend to just be like in problem-solving mode. I find sometimes you're just like, well, if nobody else is going to deal with it, I've got to
when
deal
you're
with
the
it.
boss. You're the boss, so it
Yep.
all
Must
stops
be
with
nice.
you, and you're not necessarily thinking about what outside resources you might have.
Yep.
Well, I recently, as I said, I had some shoplifting. The first one, this is just a recent story of this season, but the first one was just a guy who, again, like, does not seem to be in great shape and really has some hygiene issues and needs probably some services. Right. So this is another thing. Like when people are down and out and you feel like you want to be helpful.
Right.
I don't think necessarily putting them in jail is helpful, but I don't
Right.
know, and
But
will
it's
they
hard.
even? Like what stealing a book from me is not going to lead to
Incarceration.
and thank God.
Right.
But what is the point of sometimes calling the police?
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm trying to get
There's
to.
some stuff that
Yeah.
is just, you have to sort it between two human beings.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this particular gentleman has been in before, and I tried to say hello and be friendly, and he just literally growls. Literally growls at you with teeth exposed. Yes, like he's in rough shape. This is what I'm saying. And because of his
Demeanor.
smell and demeanor, you want to give him a wide berth, which leads to shoplifting because
Right.
you are keeping your distance and you
Yeah.
are trying not to bother him or engage with him in any way, really.
Right.
So that was the first one of this season that I knew about. But the second one, now I hate to tell all the shoplifters out there how obvious they are sometimes.
Oh, some of them are very obvious.
But if you are just talking to me about the most random, whatever, like stream of consciousness bullshit, so that your friend can walk around the store, it's kind of a giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway.
This particular time, it was a mother and daughter, and the mom was just like talking. And then the daughter was on the periphery of the store saying, Mom, did you see this? Mom, did you see this? Like they were normal, friendly people out for some Christmas shopping.
Right.
And the daughter started giving me some really super weird vibes. So I was walking very close
her,
to
strolling
the
with her?
daughter.
Yeah.
Well, and then the mom starts following me around and almost literally doing jumping jacks in front of me. Like it was so obvious. And she's like, so what are these here? Are these books? These are books. And so what they're kind of like, and what is this? Like, is this a candle? Like the mom was going nuts.
Oh, no.
But I didn't see the daughter actually put anything in her bag, so I don't know. But I just stayed right with them.
Yep.
And of course, they headed out the door. And I said to them, you guys didn't find anything you wanted today? Like, here's your last chance.
Right.
Like, fess up. But I had nothing on them, really. It just
felt weird.
You just know.
You just know. And when they leave really fast.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you turn around and they are out the door so fast,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
Like-
all right, what did they take?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
What did they
And then you do
steal?
a
And then you
little
do a
walk
little
around your
walk
store and you're
through.
like, oh shit, well, I
Yeah.
guess I don't have the greatest hits of science fiction anymore. So whatever.
But we
But
always catch them sometimes too late.
Yeah, sometimes.
But it's usually not the next day. It's like something you kind of know. Something off just happens.
I had some girls who totally got one over on me this year. Like they seemed to be regular shoppers and they were asking about the perfumes. And then the next thing I know, the testers are gone.
That's why I don't have testers anymore.
Testers are always gone.
That's why I don't even use them anymore.
Yeah. The testers are just...
Why are you stealing testers? People already put them on their skin.
It's like it's grazing the bulk foods aisle. Well, that's
Yeah.
got to be a trigger for you, Marilla, since you
yeah.
have bulk
Does
foods.
that count as shoplifting or just
I think
stealing?
so. Well,
When people just...
What's the difference? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like you said, for me, I have food that's just like out and about. And like candy jars that are just open, and people will be like, oh, well, let me see if I like this, and just pop it in their mouth. And I'll be like, I can't reach into their mouth and grab it like Yvette.
I would.
So I have that happen. And normally, if you ask me if you can taste something, I'll be like, sure.
But that's the key difference.
But the key is asking. The key is asking. And yeah, I just, one time I had somebody who really had a whole operation, and they were like coming in and trying to exchange something that was a lot of money for something that was a little money to get cash back. And then like, it was a whole operation. He was going around town and doing this. And my manager at the time went over and saw him trying to pull that with a neighbor shop. And she came flying out of the store and went up to him and got in his face. And it was dramatic. But like you guys said, she didn't think about it. And she really just took action in the moment. And later that week, he was arrested for being dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
To this day, I think about my plucky manager getting up and putting the fear of God in this guy, and thankfully nothing happened to her. But yeah, so sometimes you take action in the moment. But I don't. Thankfully, I haven't seen a ton of it, and when I do, I don't have, gold jewelry and ancient books.
Well, this is the thing. Yvette, you might have some things that actually have some street value, but I don't. Like, where are you going to sell this book?
And
right. To me,
I think it's just
it's something
the
else.
shoplifters I get are just thoughtful, like the Valentine's Day guy. Or I don't know what that lady's deal was. And I think that she might have been a kleptomaniac.
Maybe.
Because like I said, it was all those cigarette packs and all those lighters, the different brands of cigarettes. And I'm like, this must be
okay, I got one. Speaking of kleptomaniac, okay.
If you're going to talk about me, then just stop.
This man was giving me such huge shoplifter vibes. Just incredible, like looking over his shoulder, like looking up for cameras, like acting just like really super sketch. And I'm like, he's got no big bag. Mm-hmm. He's got some tight jeans on. Like, where is he going to stick it? Up his shirt? Right. Or like, what is he going to steal? What does this man want? He had no fanny pack or panty pack, for that matter. And I'm just watching him and watching him and watching him circle around the store and circle around the store. And finally, I'm not standing at the counter. I'm standing behind like a pillar trying to watch him. And he takes a pencil off my counter, off my sales counter, and puts it in his pocket. And I was watching him, so I said, "Excuse me, sir." That's my pencil. And he's like, oh. And he gets all nervous. He's like, "I'm so sorry, but I collect them."
Okay.
Like, you collect random yellow number 2 pencils from businesses that you visit. I think he just wanted to take something.
Yeah.
He just wanted to take something, and there was that pencil sitting right out on the counter just waiting for him
or maybe
to take.
It was a test for a crime ring, and they were like, if you want to be a part of our crime ring, then show us what you can do. Go get Beth's pencil.
Well,
it's like the girls who like to try to steal my rings.
Oh, the rings.
The ring thieves.
Okay, wait a minute, though. This gives me anxiety because I put rings on in Yvette's store, too, and I am just nervous.
And you just walk out the door with 6 or 7 rings on.
What? The rings are literally right in front of me. So every time someone's up to, and now I have a sign that says, please hand me the rings you're going to buy. Or please hand me the rings you might think about stealing. Mm-hmm. And I even have my little ring there that says, okay, smile, you're on camera.
Yeah.
And when somebody looks at rings, and I'm usually, I spin the rack to find the empty slot, mm-hmm. and then I put a penny in there.
Mm-hmm.
I see. So So
I do. Mm-hmm. And a couple times before I came up with this genius idea.
The penny idea, yes.
There would always be empty slots when there were certain girls in my store. Mm. So I would go up to them, and I would be like, can I just hang on to those rings that you have?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they were like, oh,
Oh, I forgot.
I'm just walking around to see what it feels like.
Oh, man.
Oh, we forgot. We all forgot. All 7 of us forgot we had rings on. And a couple times they've even switched their old rings.
And put
with
the
new ones. So I'm
wow.
looking through the rack and I'm like, that's new. I don't remember buying that.
Oh my God.
I wonder if it belongs to that girl that's in
It's
here.
like, give a penny, take a penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to be so sketchy. They try so hard, but they don't know that we've been doing this for a long time.
Rodeo. But then at the same time, you've been doing it for a long time, but
there's always ones that get away.
There's ones that get away, but let's talk about when we get it completely wrong. Like, I have definitely gotten it completely wrong. And I haven't necessarily run out and, like, said something to someone. But, like, the other day, I had this gentleman in my store, and he comes in on a regular basis. He's now becoming a little regular character that comes in all the time. I'm getting to know this person. He's a little bit quirky. But the other day, he came in, and he's very invested in the store and its survival, and he has made me signs to improve my store's presentation. He's okay. But he's in my store the other day, and he's like, nobody's in there. He's like, so, is like all this stuff that you get, it's all free, right? Like, you get it for free.
I think that is a misconception. More common than you would think.
I was like, no, none of it is free. I have to pay for it all, and that's why I charge for it. He's like, really? It's just, I really thought it was just free. And I was like, no, it's not, da-da-da, and we talk about it. So then, like, 15 minutes goes by, and he's like, so, are you trying to be successful with this place? And I was like, yeah, that is the plan. Another 10 minutes goes by, he's like, so do you have any, like, cameras around here?
Oh, my gosh.
He was literally just asking. He's a quirky guy, and he's just interested. He says he's worked in retail before. I can honestly say that he was just asking. But I'm thinking in my head, if some customer was in here hearing him ask me if things are free, do I have cameras? Do I keep cash on the premises? Like, all these things, I'd be like, someone would think that he's casing the joint to like clean me out. And like I said, he's fine. But I was like, if I didn't know him for the last 3 months and he just came in and was asking me these questions, I'd be like, okay, what are we doing here, guy? Mm-hmm. Like, why are you asking me these questions? And then it would be an awkward situation. And there have been other times where I'm like, you seem a little odd, or like some red flags, and then the person comes up and spends like $150 and is so nice. Like, I've definitely,
well, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Called it wrong, right?
But sometimes I still do, and that got me into trouble last week.
To you?
Yeah. Because
share with the class.
A lady came in. It was Christmas in retail, so it was very busy. Mm-hmm. I only noticed her because she did that super chatty thing, where she's talking to me about the desk, and she's talking to me about
and you're busy.
Yeah, right. So it just felt weird. She's moving around pretty quick, which always you're thinking, okay, what is she grabbing as she's going?
What can you possibly see when you're moving around?
Yeah,
the store
this quick,
fast?
especially in a bookstore.
Right. In my jewelry store.
Right.
Where things take their detail. You need to spend a little time with them. So she's moving around pretty quick, and she's just giving me the vibe, and I didn't like it. And I had been shoplifted so aggressively that I was super sensitive. So I saw her look at some peepers glasses. I saw peepers in her hand. I saw her walking towards the door. Oh, no. I looked at the peepers display, which I had just replenished. There's an empty spot there. I'm like, nuh-uh, not today, lady.
Oh, man.
So she and I are approaching the door at kind of the same time, because I'm going to stop her.
Yeah. That door. You're going to lock that door back.
She's headed for the lock.
She pauses. My phone starts ringing. Ooh. And I pause. What am I going to do? What direction, choose your own adventure am I going to take? Am I going to answer the phone?
You're going to nab this shoplifter.
Am I going to leave this shop full of people?
Yes. Or B?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not follow this lady out onto the sidewalk and accuse her of shoplifting, because that's what I did.
Oh, no.
I said, excuse me, can I see those glasses? And she hands them to me, and they're not mine.
And you're like, oh my God, they're so pretty.
You're like, oh, I was like, love them.
I apologized, right? I apologized.
Yeah.
And she gave me like a super annoyed, condescending look. But I still think she was a shoplifter. I still do. And I don't know why I had all the... It's not like... Ordinarily, people walk into the store and I'm like, that's a shoplifter. That's not my first instinct.
No.
I don't know why I felt that way. If she's listening to this podcast and she's not a shoplifter, boy, do I feel bad about it. But I don't know why all the red flags were there.
Flags are there, you know?
Yes.
Like
then
those girls
I
told you about, you know? And I messaged you, and I was like, there's some girls that have been coming in. And when they come in repeatedly and just kind of loiter and not buy anything, and then you find out that one of them, they've been kicked out of school, and one of them has a probation officer, and when they do come back in, they haven't stolen anything from me yet, quote unquote. But can I, as a business owner, just ask them to leave because they're sketching me out?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So, it just seems like difficult. So strangely profile-y in a way.
Yeah, I know. But and they did try coming in another time, but there were a lot of people in my store. And they just came in, and then they all just turned around and left. And...
You never know.
Oh, so you feel like it was too risky.
It was too risky. And I did read that somewhere, like a long time ago when I was having those problems with the major shoplifters. And one of them said that people who come in their little groups, if they have it all planned and there's a lot of people in there, they'll wait for another day when the business owner's alone, which I just find bizarre.
But they don't know Yvette. They don't know that they're going to get locked in.
So if they do come in again, I mean, they're little teenagers. They don't scare me, but what do I do?
It's always uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's always.
So
moral of the story, please don't shoplift from us.
Well, I'll tell you another time I chased somebody down the street, though, that didn't go well.
You need like a scooter. Just like a little, so you can get to them faster.
So, okay, this one time, this guy was carrying a huge armload of books.
Okay.
Like very carefully going around the store.
Okay.
Yes, I'll take this one. Yes, I'll take this one. Yes, I'll take this one. Yes, I'll take... And he's got like probably 10 books.
Great.
Right? And the next thing I know, he's gone.
What?
And I see him walking like down the sidewalk, and I was like, no sir, I'm not having that. So again, I left my store wide open. Completely unattended, which is so counterintuitive, right?
Yep.
Because if I'm worried about somebody stealing from me, yes, that is the plan. That's very clever. But I couldn't this was a tall man. He had a good stride, right? So I was really having trouble catching up with him. And he went down the block and around the corner. And finally, I'm like half a quarter mile from my shop.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, his accomplice is taking all the cash, all your books. They got the van pulled up.
So you're 50 miles away now.
And his accomplice is ripping her off.
And you do catch him?
I catch up with him because he stops. He stops in front of the elementary school. And I catch up with him.
Wait.
This isn't my old shop.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Stops in front of the elementary school. And I was like, excuse me, sir, where are all those books that you had mine? Right. And he's like, I left him in the store.
Oh,
and he
my
opens
God.
up his jacket. All these other parents are standing around as I'm on the sidewalk accusing this man of shoplifting from me. And he's like, do you want to see inside my shirt? He lifts his shirt up. Which reminds me of another story. I had another one about a shirt lifting. I know this is too many shoplifting stories. I know.
So he flashes you.
What happened was, he totally flashed me. And what happened was he was shopping my store. He found quite a number of things he was interested in buying. And then he looked at the time and realized he was late for picking up his son from elementary school. So he left all these books in a huge pile by the front door.
Oh, my God.
And as soon as I got back to my store, which was quite a while later.
Quite some time.
Here's the stack of books by the front door.
Dang.
Now, of course, I see the man shopping with a huge pile of books. They're not back where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And he's gone. So I can understand why I made that false assumption. But
he come back?
He did. He felt bad about it, and so did I. And
that
so
had to be an awkward
it
one.
sure was. And
man.
I almost wish, please just never come back here. I feel too mortified by this
God, but he
to
came
have you
back.
back.
And he gave you his money.
And then it became like a joke. He's like, "Do you want to frisk me before I leave?" And I was like,
Not your Facebook friends.
And that's how she met her husband.
But another time, speaking of shirts, and I know I'm going on, but there was another time where I had gotten a book in. It was a new release, a local author, and I had a huge stack of 15 of them on my front counter. And a man came in and he bought one and he liked it. And he came in another time. He's like, "Oh, I'd like to buy another one of these for my friend." So I was like, "Okay, fine." So I rang him up and he's standing at the cash register way too long. And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess we're chatting now.
Okay.
I guess we're having a conversation about nothing, because this is what the shoplifters do. They talk to you about nothing.
Nothing better to do.
And then he's getting ready to leave and he turns and books fall out of his
Oh my goodness.
his shirt.
Out of his shirt.
Yes.
You can't make it up.
But this is
a great bit.
This is like, I'm either way too on or way too off when it comes to shoplifters.
Classic.
Because sometimes I'll attack somebody on the street who's not shopping for me. But this time, I didn't even catch it.
You
I
didn't
was
catch the book-shaped stack.
And when they fell out of his shirt, he's like, "Oh, these are mine from home. I just didn't want you to think that I was shoplifting from you, and that's why I put them in my shirt, because if I came in with books or was carrying books around, you might think I was shoplifting."
That's like something my brother would do.
I was like, "Oh, okay." Oh, right. That makes total sense. And I let him
do
go.
that all the time.
You didn't even look at the books?
Yes, one of them was the same book that he was buying. So he had already bought it from me once. Right?
Yeah.
So it made sense somehow in my mind.
Well, maybe it was.
But no, because then I went back and counted them.
Well,
and
I was optimistic.
I was optimistic. I looked, because you know your inventory really well.
You do.
I just was like so confused by the whole
It's
thing.
such
And
a
when
random
he
excuse.
offered an explanation, I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Fine."
All right. He's got a back. He's got an accomplice.
Yeah.
Well, or an alien. Is it alias?
Alibi?
Alibi. That's what I was thinking. He's got an alibi. Well, there you have it. So basically, you guys are just out here fighting crime left and right.
But I want to know, I guess, when other people are in our position, I don't think it's a good idea to go chasing after people.
No, it is not.
Even though I've done it many times and you've done it, I just don't think it's smart.
Do as you say, not
as we do. And you just got to, for me, I've just got to chill the F out about this and just be like, yeah, there's going to be some loss. It's a cost of doing business.
Right. Yeah, not to be a pillar of reason and peace and calm. But here goes. I let him have it. And this is probably jinxing myself. And nobody get any ideas. You can't just come into my store and walk out with stuff. But I do live by that. You know what? There is loss, and it's not on me if you take that bottle of essential oil. Mm-hmm. And that's something you have to live with. That's something you have to sort out. I can handle that loss. And I know.
This is from somebody who believes in, you're saying this because you believe in a higher power. You believe in karma. You believe in universal justice. So you're like, chill.
Maybe. But
the universe has my back on that.
Maybe. But I also just, there's some things that I want to put my energy towards and other things that I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to fight that fight today. And I'm normally not in the mood to fight that fight. Sometimes, I will say, one time I did have a guy who came in and I knew that he had a bottle of essential oil in his pocket. I watched him take it. I watched him walk around the store. And when he left, I said, "You enjoy that." And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, "The lavender." And he was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." I was like, "Bye-bye." And he never came back again. And I hope he's enjoying it. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm more passive aggressive than
Then aggressive,
like running out and getting them. But I do think, for me, thankfully, it doesn't happen so often that I feel like I've had to confront it very often. But when I have had it happen, I always find myself in that, you know what? That is more on them. Now, if it was something that was like, I don't know, maybe $100 or $50 there's definitely exceptions to that. But for the most part, maybe it is the higher power. I don't know. But I'm usually like, if you want to do that, knock yourself out.
I don't know. To me, it's like, I understand that there's different reactions to different price points, let's say.
Right, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
But I'm like very much like the principle of my principles are violated. It doesn't matter if it's 50 cents or $500. There's a violation of principles here.
Oh, yeah. No, my husband's the same way.
You don't say.
I take the whole thing personally.
Yeah.
I'm like, how dare you
Yeah.
insult my intelligence?
Yeah. So it's just basically...
And then I don't want them coming back. If I don't get a good look at them, then I get scared. Like, great, now they're going to come back and I don't remember what they look like. And
I've taken down license plate numbers for, I have no idea why. Just so like maybe if you get shoplifted and Yvette gets shoplifted and I get shoplifted and there's like, well, here's a license plate number. I don't know what good it's going to do though. That's the problem.
Or even their face on camera.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No one knows what good it's going to do.
Right. That's a good point
you can't plaster it all over town.
Yeah.
You could.
Thankfully, the majority of our people bring us spiced wine and slices of Kim's pizza and Pringles and caramels, and that's the majority of it, I'd say, for me.
And thank God all the stuff we have in our stores is free, so it's not really a hard loss for us. We don't pay for any
of it. So.
Yeah,
and now people know that we're not afraid to fight crime.
That's true.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, we are a little. I mean, I will never do what I did in the past. I'm older and more mature now.
Older and wiser.
I have been spoken to by the police, and they were like, "Yeah, for your own safety, don't chase people."
Borderline arrested for my behavior.
I have
two wrongs don't make a right of that. Yes.
I have locked them in my store, and for that I apologize.
So live and learn. But please don't shoplift from us. Please.
Yeah. Just quit it.
Cut it out.
Jerks. All right. Any closing words of that? How was it being on the podcast?
It was wonderful.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to this. And first, I have to really thank you guys for giving me a 5-star review that day.
Oh, right.
Because I want to tell the listeners and I was so stressed out that was it in December?
It was like beginning of, yeah.
And I felt very guilty because I haven't listened to like your past 3 podcasts. And because I just didn't have time. In the morning I would get up.
It's holidays in retail.
Mm-hmm. And that day I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm going to go to Padula's and I'm going to get some wine and I'm going to go home and I'm going to listen to their Christmas podcast.
Yes.
Because I want to, and it's therapeutic.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it was a 5-star review. And I almost cried.
Well, we love you.
But no, this is a lovely podcast.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks. You've been mentioned on many, many, many episodes, so it's about time we actually got you in the studio, such as it is.
The studio.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Right.
Cool. And then you and I will maybe wrap up with a 5-star review today.
Who knows? Mm-hmm. Well, anything could happen. Yep. It's season 2.
All right. Thank you, Yvette.
Thank you.
So we're back at it for season 2, and that means we are back at
our 5-star reviews.
And that rhymes. Oh, yes. So last season we started doling out these 5-star reviews for some of our favorite businesses. And so we're going to keep it going because we love getting 5-star reviews on our podcast. So we're sharing the love.
Yep.
Wink, wink. Yeah. So we're sharing the love.
And this time it's going to be a 5-star review for Anthony Road Winery.
We love them.
They have been around a long time in the Finger Lakes wine region history, which is what I think they just had their 30-year anniversary a couple years ago.
Yes. Yeah. They have been with it almost from the start.
Yes, and so it's a generational enterprise, family-run business, and every member of the family is just terrific.
Yes, they're so kind.
Yes, and friendly.
They pay attention to who you are. They pay attention to what you like. They make you feel very welcome.
The facility is very beautiful.
Yes, they do a lot of featuring local artists. Didn't Beth get featured?
Well, that's not the only reason we're giving them a 5-star review, but some of my photos were there for a while, and other local artists too.
Yeah,
they do
feature a lot
rotating exhibits, and the wine. Oh, by the way, the wine is very good.
The wine is outstanding. They have also featured local musicians through the years, food trucks, the opera. Great supporter of the arts.
Heck of a view of Seneca Lake from their building. So yes, 5-star review for
5 stars.
Anthony Road Winery.
Yep. If you're on the trail, there's a million wineries to stop at on Seneca Lake. So make sure you stop into Anthony Road.
Awesome.
We chat about the biz, it is the way it is. Thank you for understanding.
We sincerely thank you for understanding. Please visit us at tyfupod.com to learn more about the show, share prompt ideas, or tell us about your own small business experiences. We may include your story in a future episode. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at TYFUpod or on tyfupod.com. Our theme song was composed by Marilla Gonzalez. The show is produced by Kelly Walker. Too bad for Kelly Walker. Beth just kicks children out of her store.
Yeah.
I smell children.